you don't have a lead problem. You have a messaging problem. And until you fix that, it does not matter how many people you talk to. Now, before we get started, if you're new here, my name is Elizabeth Graham, and I am a messaging and sales strategist for service-based business pros. Since 2023, I have helped over a dozen women sell confidently inside of the DMs without using a script. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and get notified by hitting that bell if you would like to get notified every time I have a brand new video out for you to listen to. And if you're over in the podcast, please review these episodes. It helps get this into more people, and it'll really help grow the podcast to go into different parts of the world. I'll tell you the truth. After talking to so many people and helping over a dozen women, most people think that they're talking to quote unquote broke leads. And so they think that they need to just keep sorting through, the haystack to find that one needle in a haystack, because the more they talk to, the more chances that they'll find someone who is ready to invest in them. And so when that doesn't work, they start to post more and they buy courses. They start really almost burning themselves out to try to find those leads that are ready to buy from them right now. But the real reason is that their messaging isn't clear about two things. One, who they serve, and two, what pain point they solve. So today I'm going to break down 3 things that you need to be talking about, you need to be posting so the right people get inside of your DMs and you attract the right people with your content. Something you've probably heard about 1,000 times said to you about your business is you lack clarity. Like you don't have clarity. You don't have clarity on what you're saying. You don't have clarity about who you're attracting. You don't have clarity on this. You don't have clarity on that. And that word is beautiful because clarity really does open your eyes like a 5-year-old who just realized that they're alive. And you realize that, oh my gosh, I can win in business. But the thing is that clarity alone isn't what your messaging needs. What your target audience needs to know is what can you do to solve their problem. Most of your messaging will be all about your target audience problem and how you are the solution and why they should pick you. I'm going to teach you today why it is important for you to talk about the real problem. And we're going to start with layering the onion. Most of you are messaging about the problem, like a very surface problem, but you're not getting to the root of the problem. And I'm going to give you some examples that I wrote down. One example is a systems person. So let's say you help with systems and you say, I help with automations. That's great. Tons of people do. What is it that exactly you do? Because that is so surface level. And so instead of saying like the surface problem, I've helped with automations, you are going to say, I help with indecision fatigue and not knowing where to start. That alone will be like, oh my God, that's me. I can't make up my mind about anything. And so I'm constantly having to figure out like what it is. And I'm so tired. I make too many decisions. So trip out on this. And you can use this on your content. Did you know that women that all of us make I don't know the exact number. Don't quote me on this, but I want to say over 400 decisions a day. I could be wrong, but just Google it and ask how many decisions does a person make a day? You can use that in content. Like, I help you with indecision fatigue because you already make 400 decisions a day. Why not let me be the one that helps you not make those decisions for your business? That's content right there, homie. And so instead of you saying I help with automations, no, you help with the indecision fatigue or decision fatigue that people day in and day out have to worry about. Now, let's say you're a graphic designer, right? And you say, I help you with content. Good job, sis. That's great. And what else can you do for me? Okay, you help me with content. That's great. I help women write better content. That's great. I help with content is very surface level. So we're going to say, but the real problem that person is going through is that client doesn't see the value of visuals, so it'll never be a priority. So you can help your clients see the value in content by learning how to prioritize it so the visuals pop and they attract leads or attract more clients or attract whatever it is that you help them attract. But do you see the difference? It's all about what we say in our messaging which is like amazing to understand because what we say really can change the way people read things. And so your message has to name the root of that onion. Like you need to get down in layers. And so how are you going to go layer by layer by layer, right? So these are 3 peeling back questions. Think of peeling the onion. You're crying because it's, onion makes you cry. Okay. And so here's how we can find it. Number 1, and I'm reading this. So if you see me on the podcast, you won't know that I'm doing this, but literally YouTube, you can see it. So what do people usually come to you for? That is layer number 1. We got the outside off. Okay, cool. We're not crying yet. Okay. Number 2, what do they really mean by that? Go another layer. Oh, you can feel the eyes, right? Or is that only when you're cutting? Sometimes it happens when you peel, right? I feel like such a dum-dum. Like I don't cook. Okay. Side note, I don't cook. It's my husband. So, and onions are not something that I chop daily. So on the norm. So excuse me for being such a bimbo right now. And so we're layering the onion, like we're peeling back the onion. Okay. So let's just not say we're crying. Okay. So we're peeling the onion layer by layer to get to the root, to get to the deep of it. Right. So what do they really mean by that? If someone comes to you and says, oh my God, Liz, I really struggle with knowing what to say to people. What do you mean by that? Well, I'm just not attracting the right people. I've talked to 50 people and like 99% of them aren't ready to invest. Here's the 3rd question. And what does that actually mean? When someone comes to you and tells you and asks you a question like, hey, I'm awful with graphic designing. Well, what does that mean? I just don't have the time for that. Like I don't prioritize. It's not really priority for me. And what does that actually mean? This is where you get deeper into that question. Well, I don't have time. You don't have time. You're now in the deep root. It's kind of like when you're asking a question and like you're trying to really get that answer and you're like, okay, and what does that mean? What do you mean by that? And let's go a little deeper. What does that actually mean? You're layering the onion to get to that root of the problem. And that is exactly what I teach inside of my Phoenix Experience membership. So this monthly membership, every single week we do workshops where we talk about this kinds of stuff. We talk about layering the onion. We talk about your messaging. We talk about sales. We talk about closing. We talk about leads. I help you really hone in on your messaging, on who it is you serve, how you serve them, the type of questions. We get down to the pain points, how to say certain things. I don't do scripts. So if you would like more information on the Phoenix Experience, my monthly membership, click the link in the description to learn more about it because this is exactly what we do. The whole point of the membership is for you to get to the root of the problem. So when someone reads your stuff and reads your content, they're like, oh my God, she knows what she's talking about. That's me. I struggle with that problem. And so I teach you how to go deeper and deeper. Don't ever be satisfied with someone's answer being like the first 2, 3 even. I would go deeper. Okay, so what does that mean? What does that mean? Because when you ask intriguing, like just a simple, what does that mean? 4 words, people will tell you answers that you will trip out on. They'll tell you, well, the root of the problem, like one of the roots of my own problems is I really want to spend more time with my kids. And so that it could have been like, oh, I just don't understand automations. But the truth is I want to spend more time with my kids. They're my priority. Like, that's why I'm doing my membership. So by asking the questions and really understanding what it is and why it is that I do what I do, someone was able to get to the root and help me because it's never the first 3 questions. I only gave you 3. I want you to ask more questions. I want you to dig deep and ask those questions that layer the onion. And so we're going to go next to show them the route. So once you've layered the onion and you've asked them and you've peeled back that onion and boom, 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 getting to the root, the next thing is you showing them how they're going to get to the destination you're pitching at them. And this is what I mean. Let's say you're saying, oh, you have a picture of somebody, like I've seen this before, someone sipping cocktails on the beach and you're like, wouldn't you like this to be you while all your messages are taken care of by me? Sister, how am I going to get there? I can't even get past like all of the client work. I can't even get past like all these calls and I can't like show me how. We need to stop telling people about like getting to these destinations. Like you're going to get to this destination. You need to show them how they're going to get to the destination because nobody buys the destination unless they know how they're going to get there. And when you start to show people how they're going to see themselves in the investment that they made with you in month 1, month 2, month 3, it's like, I know that in 30 days, my message is going to be clear. I'm going to know who my target audience is. And I know by month 2, I'm going to start building a message that starts calling them. And by month 3, I'm going to start doing this and that. I'm going to start getting this. And by month 6, oh my God, I'm going to have a DM sales strategy that I do day in and day out. That's the thing, is when you show them that this could be you by month 1, by doing X, Y, and Z, you're showing them your framework. You're showing them how they can get to the destination of sipping cocktails at the beach. Not just showing them the destination. You got to show them how that's going to happen. That will set you apart from someone who does the exact same thing as you. So instead of telling them like, oh yeah, this could be you, say, what would it look like in a month if all of your emails were taken care of and you no longer had to spend 30 minutes a day checking to see which emails are important, wasting precious time? What if by month 3, all your client onboarding systems were taken care of? And instead of you manually having to send stuff, you could be playing at the park and get a ding, someone paid to work with you because I took care of your systems and automations in the back end. What if by month 6, you scheduled that trip to go to Disney and I handled all of your clients' messages? You see how you kind of step them month 1, month 3, month 6. You told them what it would look like. When people can see themselves in your content, you can sell to them. I can tell you a lot of reason why people do not post their frameworks or what they do is they're afraid of people copying them. Guilty, dude. I was so afraid that someone was going to copy my stuff. And then I said, well, let them. You cannot duplicate how I talk. You can't duplicate how I do things. You can't duplicate how I show up live. You can't duplicate me. So what? Unless I'm willing to have a lawyer help me with an IP and intellectual property, it's okay. Like whatever, I don't really care. They can copy my framework, but you can't copy exactly what I do because I'm the only one who could do what I do when I do what I do. Chick. How you like that, huh? That was tight, huh? All right, let's move on. And I understand that you're like, well, it's on my website. I get it. I have a website, but I was able to land 12 clients without a website. The clients paid for the website because my content was where everyone was going to. I don't know how much people click my website. I'll be very honest with you. I don't know any numbers. But the truth is that I know how many DMs I have going on in the background. And that to me is more important than anything else. And so when you let your content do all the heavy lifting and all the talking for you, that's when you have a very clear message and that you start to talk about your framework and you start to talk about how you do things differently and you show how you do those things differently because people want to see themselves in your content, but you're holding back because you're afraid someone's going to steal your process. Sis, let them. Who cares? They're not you. They can't do it the way you do. Because the truth is your framework is what sets you apart. It is what shows someone how you do what you do. And they see themselves on, oh my gosh, Liz can actually help me get there. It helps them see from, I think it's her to, oh, maybe she's the one that can really help me get the solution that I'm looking for. And the last one we're going to talk about is your pricing. This is the filter. Huge pet peeve, okay? Just going to be completely honest with you. People don't share their prices. I don't get it. I think you need to share your prices more than you think because you need to show people why they should invest in you, but also what investment they're going to make. I think a lot of reason why people are afraid to share prices is because there's going to scare. But here's the thing. Imagine you get on a discovery call or you get in a DM and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to close this person. Like I'm pitching and you didn't share your prices because you're afraid of like, oh, what if I don't get the right people? And so you never shared your prices. You drop your price and they're like, no, that's too much. I'm sorry. I can't work with you. You're going to say, I'll lower it, right? And then you're selling yourself short. Or 2, you're going to say, okay. And that's it. You're just going to say, okay. Because honestly, when you share your prices, you're filtering out people who aren't even interested. I share my prices at least 2 to 3 times a week in my content because I really do think that people need to see and they need to know that I charge what I charge. And if you can't afford it, that's okay. You're not my target audience because my target audience sees that and they're like, yeah, heck yeah, I'm gonna do that. Because I've talked enough about my framework and I've given enough value to them that they see that that's a no-brainer price right there. And so you need to start filtering people out by sharing your prices. In like March 2024, when I came back after like a sabbatical I took for 2 months, I was overwhelmed, burnt out. I was doing too much. And so my coach was like, you need to take a break. And so I did for 2 months. I came back and started sharing my prices. I was scared because of that. I was scared that people were going to not be interested, not buy. And I was like, oh my God, like, what if nobody buys? And so before that, I would have to like convince people in the DMs, or even like, I think I had like 1 or 2 discovery calls. But when I started sharing, every conversation was like, yeah, I can totally do that, because they already saw it. But the thing is, like, you have to be sharing it consistently and sharing it like a lot, so then more people see it, because people have so much information thrown at them daily. So when you share your pricing, and I'll tell you this, when I started sharing it, I got the 12 clients, and I'm going to be sharing how I went from like only having 2 clients to 12 clients in a year because of this. This was one of the things that I did, is I started sharing my prices. I started talking to people, and I started doing the things that make me a business owner and set my business apart. So filtering out those who are lurkers and not really interested was the best thing I could have ever done. And so that pricing filter gave me the confidence to step into every conversation like with, oh yeah, it's back then it was $297 a month. And they're like, oh, okay, how do I pay it? Or do you offer Klarna or this and that? You know, do you have extended prices? And all of that I was talking about all the time. I was talking about how I had that. So some knew it, some didn't. But I was still talking about it because I knew it was important for people to see. And one of the things that your price is going to do is your price isn't scaring away buyers. Your price is scaring away people who were never going to buy from you to begin with. If you're listening to the podcast, that was a mic drop, because that's the truth. They were never going to buy from you anyways. They were just lurking, wasting your time. And if they were going to buy from you, they're just not ready. They're trying to figure out how to afford you, because I've been there. I get it. I know. I'm a budget, baller on a budget. So I get it. Sometimes I say like I'm broke on paper, but like I'm rich all over. I joke around because I'm like, oh man, like I'm broke on paper. But the truth, it's a joke. Like if you only knew how we distribute money. But anyways, it's just so funny because I was just sharing with somebody like, yo, like, I'm broke on paper. And so I don't know. I just thought this was funny for you to know. But people budget, people wait for the right time. Maybe they're waiting for you to offer something. If you're never gonna have a deal, maybe they're waiting for a drop, something, I don't know. But the people that you share the price and they tell you like, oh, I'm not gonna buy from you, or like they're like, oh, it's too expensive, they were never gonna buy from you. They're not your people. Just move on. Share your price, share it confidently, and tell people exactly what it is that's inside your offer. Like, people want to know what it is. They don't want surface level stuff. They want to know what makes your offer different than the girl next to you who is doing the exact same thing as you. What makes yours different? And because we implement over here, I am going to give you a little bit of homework. Number 1, I want you to go to your last 5 content pieces, and I want you to ask yourself, am I talking about the surface level, or am I talking about the root of the problem here? And I want you to really, really talk about that and discuss, like, am I really nailing the problem here? Number 2, I want you to look at either your Instagram bio or your last post within the last, the last 3, and see, am I naming the framework? Am I naming what I do? Can I be more clear? Can I share more results? Can I share more about how this is different? Like, why my framework is different than the other person? Why me? I want you to do that and look at that. If you don't have that, create a post that talks about how life would be different for them in even just a month. And the last one, did you talk about your price this last month at all? If not, I want you to talk about it. I want you to post it. And if you need to, I want you to post it, put your phone down, run away, walk away, go for a walk. Don't take your phone because you're afraid somebody's going to comment something nasty and rough. Just do what you got to do to save your sanity, but post it. And then I want you to come back here and tell me that you did it, because I love to see when people actually implement instead of just taking in more information. All right. So if you are looking for a clear message and you have no idea who your true target audience is or where to even start the layering of the onion, I'm going to challenge you to my 5-day challenge, Spark the Conversation, where in just 5 days, 20 minutes a day, you will walk away with a copy mining blueprint of words, language, phrases, and keywords that your target audience says day in and day out. And that way you can turn it into great pieces of content And you can also use it inside of your sales page. So make sure you click the link below to spark the conversation challenge. And next week, we're talking all about silent leads and what to do with them, what to do with the people that are just watching your stuff and never taking action. So I'll see you next week, same time, same place.